Wait,
Wait, what do you mean
where did you guys drag me to?
Welcome to Fire and Ice with Guys, Games, and Beer.
Yay!
Bum, 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 bum.
Now we're a 50s song?
You know, we should do a 50s version of that.
Okay,
So, we...
So we are live from Fire and Ice. This is their 20th year in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It's a gaming convention. Looks like it's mainly tabletop based from what I can tell, but that also being said, they do have a whole bunch of cool electronic gaming going on, which I kind of found was a nice addition. They've got Artemis and Horizon, and what was the jousting game going on?
Gentle jousting.
Do it. I think
I'm not going to look it up. I
don't think it was a video game. I think it was actually jousting.
You can DIY and make your own
They're
bopper.
jousting.
Okay, all right.
And that's not, allegory for anything.
All right, we are talking about bopper. We are not talking about gentle jousting. To be absolutely clear.
No, but they were doing some jousting. They were doing real jousting. And they're pushing people out of a ring. Almost more sumo wrestling.
Yeah, it did.
Group sumo wrestling.
It really does look like group sumo wrestling. So we're going to be doing lots of interviews this weekend. There's going to be a lot to see. We've already got a bunch of the interviews in the can already, and we will be putting those online after you watch this stupid intro of us making fools of ourselves.
I thought you might be inspired.
We're drunk, but not nearly drunk enough.
We're not that drunk. He's not that drunk.
I'm Rob with Guys, Games, and Beer.
I'm Jodi and Larry with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we are with...
Jodi from Fire and Ice Game Convention.
Shalee Schmutzler.
So,
Where are you from?
Fire and Ice Game Convention.
Oh.
So we came out here for when we started the podcast, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, and we came out and visited Fire and Ice, and it was at
Was that
like at the county fairgrounds or something like
County
that.
fairgrounds, yeah.
And we decided, this is the 20th year. We should see what these guys are up to. So how has it been changing over the time?
Well, we've gotten a lot more people. We're at a much bigger venue. We started out in a very small town hall in another city about 20 miles south or north. South.
Back in 2001, yeah.
Yep, in 2001. Small amount of people, and now it's 20 years later, and this is our first year at a bigger hotel convention center.
Yeah.
And we now have hundreds of people, and you guys.
Right.
What? All this in Guys, Games, and Beer, too?
I'll be darned.
I know.
It has been a couple years since we've been.
Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the disembodied voice from off screen, and I will throw questions in as we go along.
He's
Keep
actually a
going.
floating end.
So the transition to the hotel, what's that been like?
Learning curve.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a lot more rooms, so we need a lot more people, and it's a lot harder to talk to each other because we're used to being in everything's in one big room, and now we're in like 5 or 6 smaller rooms. So it's interesting, but it's fun. It's a good move.
Any like pleasant surprises, like we can do that or something
The weather's been a surprise. We had the blizzard last year. That was pretty exciting. We had the ice storm a few years back that caused the grill to malfunction and not as many burgers. This year we're in a hotel, so once you get here, blizzard or not, here we are, and now we're being teased because it's 40 degrees out.
Yeah, and we're inside.
Yeah, right.
Right. So you were saying 20 years now.
Yep.
Right. So first year, how many did you get? Do you know roughly?
Not including people that were working there. I don't have the numbers for a fact, but I want to say it was like 20 or 30 people.
Okay. How many people do you think you have this year?
Probably, as of right now, close to 400. Maybe we'll go over yet because we still got we got most of today and another day yet.
Okay, yeah, it seems much bigger as far as how it's spread out. We were here about, 3 years ago?
No, it's been
It's like 5, 6.
4 years ago, so we're talking
been a
about
long
a bigger
time.
convention, because I can see, everything. And I've got a couple of friends that come here every year, and they're like, hey, are you guys coming? And it's like, yeah, we're coming, and then, we got stormed.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah, February.
Does that have a big effect? The weather has a big effect?
It can. Last year it had a huge effect because the storm was so horrible on Sunday, and we have a lot of just Sunday people because of the types of games we run on Sunday, and so they kind of couldn't come because it was just horrible.
So that begs the question: what kind of games are run on Sunday?
Sunday we always run our 40K Warhammer tournament.
It's a miniature game.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's been running for
Yeah.
most of the 20 years for sure. This year, because it's in a larger space, the gentleman running it was actually able to expand it, add in more teams and additional terrain, which I'm very excited to see. He will take over the entirety of the North Ballroom tomorrow. So that entire ballroom right now with all the different tables and all the different events will be one massive event, bracketed, set up, and running in there. So that'll be really cool to see.
Wait, is this all like players at one time?
Yeah. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's great to see. And then he also ran a Warcry tournament. He has one that he ran today or yesterday, the 8-player tournament. That went pretty well as well. We've got more minis in the room now today, and one of the vendors brought in additional paints and minis for folks to interact with. So really, we've seen the last couple of years the minis have been expanding and coming back. We've also got demos in there with like the Mantics, and the Warlords are running as well. We've also seen in previous years we had fewer family games. One of the new things we had this year, which folks have been kind of in and out commenting on, is we've got a 4-year-old running her own table of games with other 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds. So the family-friendly component is all
I think
coming
I
back.
walked past the table with.
Yes.
I think they were playing "Don't Break the Ice" at the time.
Yes, and it's adorable. They're completely into it.
That's great. I mean, start them young, as they say.
Yes.
So, what do you think has been one of the keys to growing your convention?
Wow. Volunteer dedication is a big thing. The people that do this, some of us have been doing it the whole time, some of us for many years. Dedication, a lot of hard work.
Do you have a sense of where you want to end up, or, so sometimes cons can get really big, maybe they're commercially successful, but they're not maybe as player friendly as other ones, and, do you have a sense of where, if you could say, 5 years from now, I want to see this convention be?
I can't honestly give a number, but I do know what you're saying. I don't ever want to get to that point where it becomes cold and corporate feeling. One thing people love is the fact they can come in and, obviously there's an event badge you have to pay for, but then there's all these games that you can play instead of all these tickets, and it gets very complicated.
Yeah.
And we are not like that, so I want to keep that. However many people it comes to, I'm not sure, but as long as we hang on to that.
I think another side of it too is we have a lot of very particular characters that are our game judges. Folks will show up to see the captain run his pirate games. Folks will show up to see that one guy in the Hawaiian t-shirt who's always running all these games all day long. We'll have folks that are running the games year to year to year, and people will come back to play that game again with that guy or that gal who taught it to them. Having those judges running it year to year is something a little different from like another large convention that I go to in St. Louis. You walk in and you grab a game. The joy is you get the game, but you have to find the people to play with.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing with the same people I could have played with at home. Why am I here?
Right.
Versus here, you're playing with the people that are always running the events, that are always teaching you. I think people are coming back for that as well.
Speaking of needing players, I noticed your really fun balloons,
Yes.
and I haven't seen that anywhere else before.
Okay.
So,
Explain them.
Well, good. Explain the balloons.
Well, it was a number of years ago. We needed, signs didn't work. We tried your little tabletop signs, and it didn't work because they couldn't be seen from any kind of a distance.
So
one of
what
our
we're
members-
talking about is need player signs.
They couldn't eat player balloons.
That is genius.
Yeah.
Okay, that is genius.
I've also volunteered to help out some of the event organizers that are like, well, I have a table running of 5, but I only have 3 people here, they need 2. I'll grab the box top and the balloon and I'll walk around, and like a Pied Piper, they'll follow me back to the table to play the game. Sometimes it's all you need to do.
And how long have you had the balloons? You were starting to say.
Oh, gosh, like
At least 10
at least 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I noticed them like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
they're not
not
the same
again.
balloons, but...
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But what I haven't seen that anywhere else. Like, and we go to fairly different conventions and stuff, and it's the first time I've ever seen. But it does make it so much more obvious. Like, if I'm looking for something, I can go ahead and go ahead and see what these guys are up to.
Right.
Okay.
And you can see it a long way.
I do love the ideas. I'm going to do it for just a quick moment, guys. Okay, everybody move past our other recording booth here.
Drunken difficulties. Please stand by. Guys, Games, and Beer will be back in a moment.
So,
I'm
so
sorry.
back from that
Future
commercial
me,
break
cut this section
about
out.
how effective bridges are.
Gosh, now see, now I've completely lost my train of thought. Disembodied voice. Okay, so
Other main events going on?
other main events going on. Thank you. That's a good one. That's a very good point to bring up. So what else? So I know I know you've got Artemis here.
Yes.
And this is not. So we've actually run into different Artemis groups across the country, and it's interesting. This is a group we have not run into before. And talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so Ray, Bill, and his team come and they bring the Artemis simulators. This year they were able to have their own space, which is phenomenal because now it can be dark and more authentic for them. They have Artemis and Horizons. They can run 2 bridges simultaneously, and you can fight against each other. So you're running in a simulator, you have a captain and a crew and a weapons person, and you're attacking each other via these video game simulations. Also in the back side of that room, you have a light bar because they're playing Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. I believe it's run on Steam.
Oh.
And
I
they
love
are
that
able
game.
to attempt to use manuals to defuse a bomb, so they have to connect with each other. They have to read the manuals fast enough. The lights go a little crazy. The bomb's about to explode. How can you beat it? They used to run a tournament. I don't know if they're doing that again tomorrow of who can get the best time. And then once you step out of that room, down in the atrium this year, we have a boffer setup. What's the group called? Starts with an A. Oh, I have to look it up. Jeremy and
Art
Gordon
Guard?
Robb. Yes, they are running the boffer setup in the center pit, teaching folks how to do that. Next to them, we have our silent game auction, safely, of course.
Yeah, how to not
they're
tear people's
they're
heads
not
off for
swords.
real.
They're fun. They're fun. We were able to run a fairly large werewolf circle, got running this morning as well. What other big things did we have?
What'd you get up to on your werewolf?
Werewolf? He
Yeah,
was-
what'd you get up
He
to?
was close to 20. He had the ability to run 500. We were just a few people short.
Yeah. We got up to, I think our max is what, 41?
Travis, what's our
GC,
biggest
right?
number on Werewolf?
43.
43.
Yeah.
43, yeah.
The biggest
But-
ones I've played in were like 60 plus, but yeah, the biggest one was
We're
So
a
20 is
big,
a good
we're a
number.
big
Yeah.
werewolf.
20 is a good number.
You gotta get the multiple GMs at that point.
Yeah.
It does get tough when you get, like, I think 20 you can probably manage pretty well, and everybody's sort of in. When you start getting into the 40s, it's like, you get a lot of side conversations
I wonder if you should.
going, you know?
Yeah,
It's
we're
almost
talking
a
about
village
splitting
to
up
itself,
to make
you
it a
know?
little bit easier.
Okay.
This is really hard. All right.
Let's start wrapping this up.
One last thing I do want to mention, there appear to be some giveaways going on up front.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Every day we have prize drawings, a lot of them. So, tickets are given to our judges and volunteers for their efforts, and also they can be purchased. And there's some pretty cool games up there. I think Gloomhaven today.
Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven, sorry.
Yep, Gloomhaven.
Yep. Also, we had someone compilate a very large poster of
Yes.
all of the artwork Fire and Ice has ever used for our shirts and stuff
Yeah.
into one ginormous poster. It is very cool, and that is up there as well.
Yes.
All right, so tell us one more time, where are we at?
Fire and Ice Gaming Convention.
And where is it located?
Manitowoc, Holiday Inn.
And it's a yearly event. This is their 20th year of doing this. You definitely want to check this one out. It's an amazing game convention. We've been here a few times now. To see the growth is very interesting, and I do love keeping it very non-corporate.
The outdoor sign is
Yes.
really improved.
Yeah, the outdoor
Yeah, it
sign.
definitely has, remember?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll,
We actually got a video
we'll
of
talk
your
that with you.
original
Okay.
outdoor sign.
Rob,
Yeah. All right. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Thanks for listening to the Disembodied Head, and we've got more interviews coming up. Rob, talking yours.
Hi, I'm Rob Benson, and I'm with Guys, Games, and Beer. Guys, Games, and Beer is the premier podcast of people who like to drink beer and play games.
I'm Travis. yeah. Yeah. Hot takes.
Argument, if you're concerned about going there, that you could then use this to flip the right. Never assume that things will be here forever.
Hey, this is Rob with Guys, Games, and Beer.
And I'm Tom with Guys, Games, and Beer.
And I'm Bob LeClaire with the Ogre's Cave.
All right, well, let's start by telling us what is the Ogre's Cave?
Well, I've been dealing with Games Workshop products since 1984. So that goes back a ways, and I'm still
I think that
working with
predates
them.
us. doing it, doesn't it? Right around the same time, at least.
Excuse yourself. I'm old, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not that much older than me.
Yeah, I was. No. 84. Yeah, so no, you're right. Maybe about 84 was when we started getting into it, or roughly in that era we were getting into it then.
In the 90s, we started really getting into it.
Yeah, that's when they kind of moved to the U.S. because
Yeah.
before that, the late 70s is when they first started, and then early 80s they developed in 85. Warhammer 40K came out, and that's what kind of kickstarted them in the U.S.
That makes sense because you had traveled to England a lot, so you had a.
So I used to work for a British firm, Syntex. So that's where my introduction to Game Workshop came. I used to go there and spend weeks over there working at my parents' company, and that's how I found out about them.
Yeah.
How about you? Because if you had it in '84, that was before they were here in the States.
Right, I actually took a trip over there.
That's.
I went to Eastwood in Nottingham, and I actually went to the factory, talked to Brian Ansell and all those guys. I got the tour of all the spin metal casting when they were first starting that, and they had just started doing the Slaughter base.
Wow. Okay, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with what he just said, because that's kind of, he was getting down the weeds when it comes to gaming. So originally, metal figures would have the base permanently connected to it.
Right.
But one of the things Games Workshop was kind of visionary in was the detachable base, the Slaughter base, as they called it in the early days. But wow, that's
Yeah, before it was gravity feed, and you'd like a fishing sinker mold. You would pour lead into the top, open it up, take the model out. And then they did a thing where they put the models flat sideways on a circular disc, and they would spin at a high rate of speed, and then they'd pour metal into it, and it would shoot out into the vent holes, would allow it to form the model.
Yeah.
And now it's all plastics.
Yeah. And I'm going to I want to tell a little story. And this one is for you, Jim, my younger brother, Jim. Do you remember Prospect Street casting metal figures out of lead on a kitchen stove? I am sure we probably went through. No, so now in our defense, they sold these molds at all the game shops, and they told you to buy sinkers and melt them down. Yep. There's nothing like heating lead in an unvented kitchen in your house.
Yeah. Now Games Workshop now has plastics, and they've pushed the modeling technique way over the top. They do use a lot of CAD design. They bought the company that makes the molds because the company didn't have cutters fine enough for the detail they wanted. So they developed all new technology for getting this super detail into plastic models now.
Wow, that's unusual. I mean, to go through that kind of work. It's nice that they're doing it.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't I don't see a whole lot of it anymore because I'm not that much into it. But in the early 90s, they were already just so incredible. I mean, that was one of the things that really drove me into it. I don't know about you, but this stuff was amazing. Creative designs,
and the stuff they're like the Cadillac of miniature design.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna. All right, he's gonna swap with me for just a second because this is gonna get weird. All right, in case you don't know, cons are long. We may have ordered food. They may be delivering it during this interview. All of this is entirely possible. So, okay,
I'm not going to tell you, but it looks like sauerkraut and schnitzel.
Hey, this is Wisconsin, and there is beer in our name, okay? So, tell me a little bit more about the Ogre's Cave. Now, I know you run a game here, but so where's the Ogre's Cave located?
Actually, I'm in Manitowoc, and the Ogre's Cave is a business that I've been kind of running since the 80s.
Okay.
Because that's when I was sort of the voice in the wilderness, before there was Games Workshop stuff up here, so I started ordering direct from them. And I still have a pretty loyal client base. And I also, as probably one of the weirdest niche businesses you ever heard of, I repair bobbleheads. You would think.
Okay, wait a minute. That's so Rob just walks in on that. Go ahead, Rob. You take that one, Rob.
Wait. What goes on? Well, I can understand one very typical thing that happens with bobbleheads. I would imagine.
My older brother is a sports collector. He had all these bobbleheads. He would order them on eBay, and he had a couple of them that would come in and they'd be broken. Well, he shows me these things. He says, "Oh, this guy didn't wrap it right." And I said, "Well, I can fix that." So, because it's the same skill set I use for modeling.
Right.
It's the same skill set. Some of the materials vary, but then, so I started doing that, and now I get them sent to me from New York, from all over the place.
I was just going to say, Joe, not your parents' basement.
Yeah.
have had this exact same issue. He ordered
You know,
these
that's
bobbleheads,
absolutely
and
true.
they come and broke it. We've actually had this discussion. Okay, that was just kind of weird, but yes, we've actually had this discussion.
I thought it was as weird the first time as this time. So,
Okay,
to be fair.
Let's put a little shout out for the bobblehead repair business. Do you have a email address or a website where people can find you for that?
Just ogrescave@yahoo.com.
Okay, so
Not your parents' basement, by the way.
yeah,
just
so
saying.
that one is specifically for you. ogrescave@yahoo.com. Now you know what to do with your broken bobbleheads.
And actually, one of the strange things, I used to work out of a store called My Parents' Basement.
Okay, that's just
Really?
Yes, it was in town here.
Okay, now we're going down rabbit holes. Okay, so
Young would have fun with
let's
this.
get
Just
back
saying.
Let's get back to talking about that.
Sure.
So besides running the
Yeah,
the
it's a
Ogre
business
you
that-
do something here at Fire and Ice
For
that
years.
You've been doing since day one here at Fire and Ice.
Yeah, as long as it's been in Manitowoc, I've been running a 40K tournament. And I can do 16 tables.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching painting since 1985, so as long as that goes back.
So before we get into the teach painting, I understand that tomorrow you guys are clearing out the entire room and converting it into how many square feet is that going to be? I mean, that's
Well,
gonna be
it's-
horrendous.
I can set up 16 6x4 tables.
That's
Dedicated
insane.
terrain
Right.
for Warhammer 40K. Okay, so picture this in your mind again, guys. That's 16 tables long and wide of Warhammer 40K, and you play everybody at once. You don't play like
Right, they just pair off.
No
It's one and
skirmishes.
one.
You literally go into a full battle.
Right, I run a 1,500 point tournament because you get above that and it takes too long. So I can get 3 rounds in.
Yeah.
I think I have 24 pre-regs. So I don't run it as a meta beat the other guy up. There's a lot of goofy stuff that happens. So there's a quiz, there's weird prizes, there's all sorts of stuff that I do to make it fun and enjoyable rather than nerve-wracking.
All right, so I have to ask. So for your game, do you mainly get people who've already played 40K, or do you get like a lot of people who've never seen it
Before, who just kind of drop it. I know. Take the mic, Tom. Don't talk without the mic, Tom.
People that are playing are experienced.
Yeah.
Because you got to know the rules. When you have that many people, you got to understand the rules. But a lot of people get fascinated by just seeing the stuff. Because when you have a lot of painted armies and painted terrain, it really looks cool.
Yeah.
And people get off on,
Oh, God,
the
yeah.
way it looks.
Well, that's like Rob was saying. Part of what draws you in originally when, and when Game Workshops had their stores, and I think they still have a few here and there.
Right.
When they had their stores, that's what their big draw point was. You'd walk in and you'd see these amazing models and great paint jobs.
Yeah.
And so, but that's something else you do. You teach people how to
I
paint
teach
here.
people how to paint. And that anywhere from age 8 and up. And it's whether you're a beginner or advanced, there's always new things to learn.
So do you now, when you teach people to paint, I mean, basically, so again, going down into it for those of you who are video game watchers who are watching now, when you play with miniatures, you really do, you want it to reflect your character, and that all is about the paint job. So if I'm in a mech, I want that mech to have that little flair that I'm going to put on a mech if I'm going to be piloting it. If I'm an elven character, I'm going to try to find a
Right.
model that best represents the character I've designed.
And the clothes colors and everything else.
Makes a big difference. It's
Yes.
those little details that's going to suck you into miniature play even more so.
Yeah, and it's the miniature gaming it's not just a game, because it's also the hobby aspect of modeling and painting. It's a collecting aspect where people might want to have different types of models, and it's a game playing aspect. So it has social aspects, it has individual aspects, and you can do it, with whatever amount of time you want to put into it.
And I'm going to warn you now about the collecting aspect. Yeah, you can burn through the cash real quick. That's like any other thing you collect or do.
Right.
If it's your passion and you need this figure and you need that figure, yeah.
Use repaints, man. Just use it, repaint.
Hey, no, I'm not going to knock that. You saw that stuff.
My entire Orchid army was
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's very few new things that were in there.
Yeah, you can find it, but the new stuff is amazing quality, and there's some new games that allow you to use like skirmish games as well as just big games. So they're aiming at a broader base right now.
All right. So you said that again that you went over there originally to find out about the product, and I assume you became
Yeah.
a distributor.
No, they didn't have a distributor here until like the middle of 1985.
Yeah.
And then they were out of Baltimore. And so everything came out of Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
And now they're down in Memphis. So they finally got it. I used to go through distributors that got the stuff from England. But now they have a local U.S.-based distributor. They
Yeah.
used to have manufacturing here too, but they moved that back to England, but now they're moving some of it back here.
Okay, well that's good to hear. That is good to hear. No offense, but this stuff's expensive, so yeah, let's make it here. I mean, only from the standpoint is you have import taxes too. That just drives that cost even more up. And the UK's got the VAT, and you have to pay the VAT when you're buying here in the States, so it does drive the price up.
Nickels and dimes you all the way up with all the stuff that's added.
Especially when you have to buy a quantity of anything.
Right.
So it's a good thing that they're actually moving some of that production back here. And it's not like you can't get that kind of production done around here. All right, so is there anything else you want to talk about?
It's a fun convention, and that's the main thing. People come in and have fun.
Yeah, and again, so if you come, and I'm sure you'll be doing this again next year, because people probably won't see this until after this year, you really want to check out this setup. Again, think about this, 16 tables of Warhammer all at once. I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
not a giant tournament, but it's a fun.
I have to ask you, so you made all your own terrain, I assume?
Yes.
All right, so again, paints all the figures, does all the terrain. It should be amazing to watch. So yeah, actually, if for some reason, we'll probably tweet about this as well. You might want to come out tomorrow and check it out. They're open tonight until 11.
Yeah,
and then tomorrow, I forget the closing time tomorrow. Okay, well, whatever. But stop out at Fire and Ice. We're at Fire and Ice 2020 in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. This is also not just Fire and Ice 2020. It is their 20th anniversary. Yep. I'm sure you've watched I know. How amazing is that? We've done a few interviews already. There'll be more coming up. Stay tuned for those.
Take us out, Rob.
Is there really a reason why you handed me this mic? Because it's really the end of the day. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. I'm keeping the mic close to my mouth because I figure that's how people will do it.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. This is Travis on the other mic, and we are seeing how the audio sounds.
Travis, lick the mic.
Hi, this is Larry with Guys, Games, and Beer.
And this is Mel with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we are at Fire and Ice Convention. And this interview, we are with
Matthew Wyatt,
Shane Short
with Trinity Craft Games.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I have played both your games, and can I say I enjoyed them very, very much. There they are. We have Shooting
Yeah, what's either of them called?
And Knock Knock. And I have not played B&E.
So that's 3
Yeah.
games. Wait, what?
Why the quotes?
Thank you. So this is a novelty. Otherwise, the person who edits later is going to be super frustrated. They'll be like, "Why didn't she hand him the mic?" And I'll be in the distance and be like,
"This is all
nobody
in your
wants
mind.
that." No.
This is all in your
Have you
mind.
ever worked with a recording? It's like, "Hey, it's all right. We're gonna do a great interview." So. Well, thank you so much for those thoughts. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. I didn't steal the mic. I'm trying to be a decent guest. Sorry, I stole your mic.
Here.
So,
all right, we're out.
Thank you. TrinityCraft.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and I have way too many followers on TikTok. So no, don't follow us on TikTok, please. It's awful.
He's got over 30,000 followers on TikTok.
Whoa!
It's not something I'm proud of. Unless you follow me, then thank you so much, love. So
wait.
All right.
So I mean,
the games.
Really, no. You gotta back up.
We never
now.
even get to the games.
We'll get there, but there's a reason you're being followed on TikTok. So what's your move?
I haven't. Well, it's the whoa. Everyone hits the. Yeah, I don't hit the whoa. I'm old. And neither does he. Apparently.
I mean, what's the video?
So the one that blew up, I actually made a video of myself making an omelet on a Pokemon waffle maker, and for some reason that got 600,000 views, and yeah, that's what people want to see today. So, and then I do videos with my kids, which are super cute, because why not exploit the children? And yeah. Between those, that's next thing you know.
Exploit children and waffles.
Family-friendly game company.
Here.
Family-friendly.
Okay.
So let's talk about the games.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do wanna hear
So
about
so the reason B&E is in quotes. So B&E is our single component micro game. It is B&E stands for breaking and entering. The way you play it is you find your most uptight or OCD gamer friend. You take the random component and place it in a conspicuous place, and then it's their move. That's it.
Side game.
That's it. So
Send us your thoughts of which G2B member is the most OCD.
So on the time, we just say that it's 5 minutes to infinity, right? And then the entire back is just legal disclaimers. My favorite is, like, at time of publishing, we're unaware of any state in which this game is actually legal to play. So it's fun. It's fun. So this is more
Were
just
you
a
also
hockey game.
unaware of any place where it was legal to play?
Yeah, I don't think you could actually break into people's homes. I think it's against the law. But if you buy it from us, you agree to the disclaimer. It's implicit. Trinity Craft Games cannot be held liable. Blah 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 blah. It's fun. So it's just a joke, right? It's a fun thing.
Stop
we're able
wrecking
to do.
the contest.
Be sure to let us know which one you think is the most uptight. Yeah. So then we have 2 actual games. Aw. You want to talk about them?
No. I do not.
I love you, Shane. Okay, so sweet. So Knock Knock is a card shedding game in the same family as Crazy Eights or Uno or The Great Del Moody. 2 unique elements to the game are that there are elements where you can play out of turn. So rather than just sitting and waiting for your turn, you have to pay attention. You're
You can
constantly
steal a
engaged.
turn.
You can. It's got
Back
a lot
to
of
breaking and
take-back,
entering.
right? Yeah, we're not. Yeah, for a family-friendly company, so its little slogan is a fast-paced, competitive game for friends and future enemies. So that's the tag on it. And then the other thing that's unique about it is that it is colorblind friendly, which is abnormal for card shedding.
You know what? In all seriousness, I thought
why we
the
have the
color
pastel
scheme
colors, yes.
was a little odd.
And that's
It's
why.
a little pastel-y, a little. It seems a little odd.
And that's on
I was
purpose.
actually going to ask you
Yes.
what the background is. There is a bit of a 60s, early 70s vibe to
Yeah.
it, so I thought
Yeah,
maybe
it's
it
the
was that.
arches and-
But the colorblind thing is actually a way more interesting angle.
Yep, so every card has a symbol on it that matches each color, and all of the colors are visible to all the generally known forms of color blindness. So, yeah, it plays well. And it was great for promotion because I got to do a TEDx talk on it. So,
Nice.
when in doubt, flex. And that's how you get 30,000 followers on TikTok.
Wait, I do that, and I have 4.
I'm sorry, one more time. How many followers do you have on TikTok?
Enough! And I love you if you follow me. So, no. So, Schrodinger's cat, is. So, Minton games are really popular right now. I find a lot of them.
Can I back up a minute?
It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
Why was that important to you? Like, do you know somebody, or is one of the developers colorblind that came up even?
So actually, that's actually a really great question. I actually don't. I'm not personally close to anyone who's colorblind. If you're my friend and I didn't know that about you, we are still close. I just didn't know that about you. So as far as the disclaimer,
Here's a funny thing. So I had a coworker, and we'd worked together for a couple years, and we were throwing quips at each other, and it turned out it sort of backfired on both of us because. At one point, I said to him, "What are you, colorblind?" And it turned out he was. And then he one day told me, "Well, what are you, dyslexic?" And I am.
excellent.
A solid relationship.
That's where love comes from.
One of our members, one of the members of Guy is colorblind.
Very cool. I mean, cool that he can play, not cool that he's. Yeah.
That's why I thought, "Oh, did you know somebody, or did it
So
come
a
up?"
really big focus especially in the independent game design community is inclusivity, right? Trying to find different ways that you can make games more inclusive. We had just read through. There's a game development course in a box called the White Box. It was done by Atlas Games along with Game Playwright, and it's really cool. They have all these different articles, and there's one in there specifically about inclusion in game design, and they call out colorblind is a really easy one to be intentional about. It doesn't add any cost. We didn't have to. There was no like real research beyond. They make an app that you can put on your phone that you just point at something and it'll show you how it looks more or less to someone who's colorblind and the different types. And so we're like, this is a really easy way to at least start and be like, hey, we want to include other people. I mean, it certainly wasn't brave. There isn't a big push of like anti-colorblind people.
It is a conscious choice, absolutely, and it does make a difference for people who are colorblind.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was
I mean you could.
particular game,
you don't have to say it's brave, but I mean, pointed effort is still worth acknowledgement, right? So you could choose to just ignore the idea, but you put some effort into doing it, right? So that's the thing.
Yeah, and it's been great. Feedback's been really good actually on it. It's been really cool.
I'm sure all those poor people out there who can't play Uno for obvious reasons now have a game they can play. Yeah, we have red and green.
Yeah, after years of people asking, Uno did actually put. I shouldn't throw shade on another game company. That's not nice, but I will. So Uno did create a colorblind-friendly version of Uno. But the way they did it was they put symbols that represent the colors in the corners.
Right. They didn't actually change the colors.
Right, and it was like, guys, good, and it's cool that they tried. Right, the fact that they put the effort, that means something. So you don't want to just knock it, but
that's where making that color choice from square one, Uno can't do that. It's just far too big a production to change the colors at this point.
Right. It's good to be small.
So the game itself. So we really dove into that hard. And, so
it's fun.
The game mechanic itself. You bring up Uno. So there's probably an element that's very similar to Uno, but you were talking about the off turn as one of its signature differences. So how does that work?
Sure. So if you have a card that is the exact same color and value, so it has to be both, you can play it at any time. So it just comes in. It's called cutting in, right?
For Magic players, that's called an instant.
That's true. But you don't have to deal with summoning sickness. So, so then other cards, there's cards where you race to do what it says. So you play a slap card, everyone races to slap the table. Last one to slap the table has to draw a card. The mimic card, you can be my model, right, for this, since you haven't been saying anything. So the player will make a choice. They will either do a nose goes, ear pull, or moose antlers. Yeah, never this. In some cultures, this is unkind. Yeah, so we try not to do that, as I'm like demonstrating.
There's a few others I can come up with that are not kind too.
Yeah, I mean places you have house rules, right?
Well, I mean, what do the different things mean as far as? So it's just you got to copy that person.
Yeah, so you copy whatever choice they make.
Does a
they
thing.
Play it, they do the thing, and then you have to do that thing.
Yeah, okay.
And it's great because after a while, if
suddenly it's not it.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's fun. And if people, after you've been playing for a while, or if people have had, a few drinks or whatever, they'll go to do the wrong thing, and that gets silly and fun. And, with the slap, the best is when someone plays the slap card, and then everyone actually slaps faster than the person who played it, and the person who plays it has to draw a card.
That's it. I slapped when I put it down.
It happens a lot.
It's okay. It's okay.
But it doesn't count.
Well, now, I mean, it's called Knock Knock. Well, why?
Yep. So we do employ a last card mechanic similar to other games, including the one that seems to keep coming up, so we won't say Uno again. But when you get down to one card, you do knock twice on the table.
With your head, right?
Well, yeah, so you're familiar with that story then. So we got a question clarifying the rules. There's a card, so it can get kind of loud and crazy and wild. So there's a card you can play where the table goes silent. You mute the table. No one can make a noise with their mouth. That's the rule, with their mouth. So we get this message, hey, wanted a clarification on the rules. If the table's muted and someone goes to knock, does that count as a sound? And so it's like, well, the rule is with your mouth, so unless you're knocking with your face, it's not going to count. And if you are knocking with your face, please send me the video. Moments later, we get a video of a guy just... Yeah. Probably one of the most rewarding parts of designing the game, truly.
But now that did not clarify the question, though. Because you said if they're knocking with their head, unless they're knocking with their head.
Right. So he would have to draw a card, I think. Yeah.
So he broke.
Yeah,
he broke the rule then.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that we specify the knocking has to be done with a hand. Because then what about players that don't have hands? That's not inclusive. What if they have to knock with their face? That was awesome.
Oh, so for that particular game, we'll probably get into all the games, but that one's available on like a website.
Yep, we have that one online. It's also in a handful of stores, but keeping it in stock in the stores has been a challenge. We were offered to put it in distribution, but we don't actually have enough copies left to do a proper distribution deal. So we're talking to a few different publishers to try to see if we could find a good partner. But we do have a couple hundred copies left, so it can still be ordered online, or we have it here at Fire and Ice. So yeah.
Oh, was that from your original Kickstart?
So we didn't kickstart this one. We
okay.
just did a print and went and did live sales on it, and we're
You
almost
did a
out.
print in home.
Yeah. Well, we had a plan. I mean, don't be honest. People are
Maybe
watching.
I'll get my savings. Oh, but you have a second game, and this is the newer game.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this one? Nope. I've been talking the whole time.
Ah,
Nope.
he's clearly just the eye candy. That's.
He is a handsome man. And sorry, ladies, he's taken.
So, something cat-related. People love cat-related stuff.
And what could be better for people who love cats than a game about killing them? No.
Well, maybe.
So this is Schrodinger's cat. This one we did do on Kickstarter. That wasn't the plan, but that's what happened.
Sometimes people call these breath mint games because they're in a tin that looks like a breath mint.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, so mint tin games are super popular right now.
Oh, that's a real thing?
Yeah,
I
it's a
made that
genre.
up.
No, it's someone beat you to it like 4 or 5 years ago at least. That's knock knock.
Our editors would absolutely love that.
What are you doing to the game?
All right, so
Open
there's
it. There you
nuclear
go.
weapons involved. Oh wait, no,
Yes,
there's not.
yes.
There's not. So the goal of the game, or the
So it's themed around the old thought experiment that Erwin Schrödinger made popular. That's later called Schrodinger's cat, right? And to oversimplify it, the idea is that a cat placed in a container with radioactive material, unless observed, would have to be assumed to be alive or dead. He was actually making fun of a prominent idea at the time. If you want to go too nerdy on it, it's actually funny because now more recent findings in physics have actually found that the theory was true for certain types of systems. But in the game, we don't worry about that. In the game, we actually take it to the other absurd.
Truth has no place here.
He's on to us. No, so in the game, a well-meaning but probably not physics-minded benefactor has decided, played by Mr. Shane, he's on the card, has assembled a think tank.
A braggadosis. I'm bragging about things I don't know about.
But he has money, so he's allowed.
He's allowed, yes. That's it. A braggadosis.
In 1935, you lost. I'm sorry. Well, it wasn't even an election year. Yeah, it was a bad choice.
I mean, he was running, but it wasn't an election year, so makes it tougher.
Would it be too lowbrow just to do the fat joke and say you weren't running far, or is that unkind?
Well,
That would be unkind.
Okay, I won't say that
There's
then.
no low to our show, but if you have standards,
Standards? What are standards?
we won't stop you.
Print quality standards.
Oh, excellent. So you get a good game. All right, so back to
so
Schrodinger's
he's got
cat.
the benefactor, and the benefactor decides to pull together a think tank to figure out once and for all if the cat is in fact dead or alive. And so most of the players are trying to figure that out. But Schrödinger himself actually sneaks in to try to ruin it because you're not supposed to do a thought experiment. You've missed the whole thing. The whole thing is dumb.
You're just supposed to think about it.
Right. And so we have this adorable little cat meeple, which is the same color as Shane's hand. So I need you to change colors. Okay, cool.
One side of it is a dead cat.
So it's
One side of it is a live cat.
So it goes in the tin. You shake the tin, pass it around. When it comes all the way around, it is now set. We don't know if it's alive or dead. Try to figure it out. Yes, the experiment is set.
Much like most cats.
Huh? Yeah, you do.
No.
So our dear friend Jeremy Sala did the meeple for us, and he makes all sorts of cool tabletop.
Did you say
gaming
meeples?
things. It's a meeple.
It's the word of the day.
So something's supposed to fall down and we win a prize, right? Where's the confetti? Actually, on this show would be beer cans, so it would hurt. We're actually better off. Tink, tink.
I didn't know we were going to have a word of the day before we started pre-production. Yeah, koala hug.
What's a koala hug?
It's, okay. It's a person who hugs fully, tightly, and very long.
So a
They're
creeper.
a koala hugger. Yes. But you know what? Koala hugs can be nice, so.
They can.
Most parents who love their children will give them a koala hug.
Joey,
wanted to be
Peter,
family
Abby,
friendly.
Liam, I'm very sorry that I haven't recently given you a koala hug. I didn't know what they were.
You
But now I
probably
do.
should.
I probably
Prepare
should.
yourself.
Daddy's coming!
Steal,
I just peeked the microphone.
steal
That's gonna be
yourself.
Very unhappy with me. They have huge broadsword toys. I'm going to get hurt. This ends badly for me.
She would love that. Yes.
They may object, but kids love a good hug from their parents.
Sweet.
Did we finish gameplay for Shake?
No, no, we've been horribly distracted.
So we have talked about this game longer than it takes to play. The game is 5 to 15 minutes, unless you have that one really annoying friend, and only play with them once. Yeah, so in 3 rounds you talk about whether or not you think the cat's dead or alive. 2 of the players actually know, but you have no idea who's who, right? So it's that whole hidden agenda, social deduction type dynamic.
It has a little bit of that werewolf play quality to it, that you're trying to kind of lie your way around the board to encourage others to maybe ruin the experiment, or maybe you're trying to make it successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then at the end, the reveal is whoever had the most influence. So if the blue team, the people who want to get it right, open it and got it right, they win. If they open it and got it wrong, they lose. You're waiting for this. This is the whole reason you're holding the tin, right?
I'm ready.
So whenever we explain this game, normally it takes 2 minutes, but but this is his favorite part. If you give the influence to Erwin Schrödinger or his lab tech, when it comes time for the reveal, everyone waits with bated breath. You will never know. Yes, we're a family-friendly company that causes fights in families.
They can reshake the tin.
That
right?
is
Yeah.
that is horribly, horribly frustrating.
It's a flip the table kind of moment.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a table flip based on it? Because I think I would.
The game is new enough. I haven't had that opportunity.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
But
I
if so,
think-
send me the video.
Yeah. All right.
I mean-
Well, by the end of this moment, we should have a video.
In making the game and putting all those circle labels on those tokens, there was a flip the table moment.
Yeah. So
Two more. Where's the other?
yeah. So we did it as a boutique game. We did all the assembly in house, but that means that to make 100 copies, you're printing 6,600 labels for the voting tokens, and yeah.
And you stuck everyone on by hand and with love.
Yes, I did.
Well,
Yes, I did.
so for the first run, I actually didn't do any of them. It's true.
I didn't do
But
jack.
we have 2 incredible interns who've helped us with everything. Yeah, Brandon and Jenna have been just great, and then we have some friends who've helped
Love
us
you,
too.
interns.
And they are highly successful business people now for having had this experience.
Absolutely. It was enriching and educational and all the other things it has to be for us to legally not pay them. was great though. So in the Kickstarter, we did a mystery box as one of the tiers, and so in it, they got the game, but they also got a copy of Knock Knock. There's a Knock Knock Junior. We included that, and we did two because we.
Wait, now how did you bring it down a shade? Because it's a pretty straightforward game to start with. So what's the junior element?
So with Junior, the person who deals just says "I win" and flips the table and walks away. It's excellent.
Yo, wait, that does sound like a 6-year-old. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So we had played Knock Knock a lot, like thousands of times, and we both have younger kids, and we wanted a game that they could enjoy. And so we took out things that younger players tend to trip over. Like if you want to make my 6-year-old cry, skip him. You know, if you want to upset even my 8-year-old, change the direction of play and expect him to follow it. So in Junior,
wait, it's my turn. No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's my turn.
I didn't even get a chance to play. It's not fair. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Very hard.
Kids, right.
Yeah. There are a surprising number of adults that prefer Junior to the actual game. We're actually talking to a studio right now about re-releasing it under a different name.
Now it's Junior with a question mark.
Yeah. Junior? There you go. Let's play Knock Knock Junior? That's awesome. But yeah, and also there's only 3 suits instead of 4. Players have 5 cards, because if you played with young players, that they don't manage a hand like we do. They tend to put them down in front of them and pull them up and look at them.
Right.
And then the Mimic card, the one where they make a choice, that played very badly with young players. Yeah, the Mimic. Because
that's
what would
so
happen,
weird because they like to do that kind of crazy
oh,
stuff.
and they
on their
like
own.
it. But here's what happens. So you're playing with a 5-year-old girl. She plays the card, and then she thinks about it.
Yeah, but that's the thing you got to do now.
And we're all looking and waiting. And then she touches her nose. We all touch our nose. It's a tie. We all draw. It's supposed to be a race, and instead it's draw a card while a 5-year-old girl laughs at you. Super fun for her, not so great for us. So in Junior, we split them out into explicit cards. So there's a nose card, an ear card, moose house, and we added to stick out your tongue.
Oh, so that you tell them, you take the decision out, but you still do the activity.
Yeah, so they're doing the same type of thing. It's actually weird how similar the games feel when you play them. We also wanted the price point to be lower, because I'm not going to pay $15 for a kid's game.
Yeah.
A kid's card game. So we were able to get it down to 8. Where the regular game, it's double deck. There's more involved.
Less cards in the deck. Then
it's literally half the size.
Ah.
Yeah. So turned out.
Used to be. Sorry. Well, this is degrading into a quality interview.
Fantastic interview. It has been so exciting to have you on the show. I'm so glad you came.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been real fun.
So,
how about some more? Just a little bit more. Wait, we need a little more shameless.
Whoa, Shane's gonna say stuff.
Very much.
How about some shameless plugging?
Shane normally won't shut up. That's the first plug I'll say. This is crazy. And
yeah, he's gone all.
And yet he made me the bad guy.
He's gone all Cindy Brady on us.
Done. No,
there's a red light over there.
He's like, how funny would it be if I just didn't say anything? Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Wow.
So where's this website we should go to right now?
Sure. So we're Trinity Craft Games. You can find us at trinitycraft.com. You can also find us on Facebook, but if you order a game on Facebook, you pay slightly more, so don't do that. That's the plug, right?
What was that website again?
trinitycraft.com. He's our social media guy.
And your TikTok guy?
That's why we don't have any TikTok followers as a company.
Less than 50 followers on TikTok.
But he is a grown man on TikTok.
I think you guys would be raging if you could just get every one of your TikTok members
to buy
one copy.
We should do that.
No, loved ones, you should do that.
Now he's talking.
No, I think we should all post on your TikTok videos of us flipping tables. That would be pretty awesome.
That would be amazing.
I think so too.
Then I can get out of the waffle game. I'm so done.
This is a win-win.
Hashtag knock the table over.
Yes! Yes! All right, we're on it. Thank you so much. Larry, take us out.
All right, thanks. Have a good night, and I don't know what interview this is going to be, but probably the last one for Fire and Ice.
No, you go ahead, Ogre, really? He was coming in for the